So God's kind of a prick. Who knew? Oh wait, everyone. Don't Call Me Shurley. So Don't Call Me Shurley is primarily Chuck's episode. It basically 17 are background characters like in Weekend at Bobby's or Bitten. Though they still kind of have like a side plot that honestly it's kind of weak if I'm being honest. But anyway, so in this episode, Chuck is officially revealed as God, which to most of us isn't really that big of a shocker because it's been circling around with fan theories for years in season 5, and I believe they confirmed it sometime around season 5. So, but for those of you who were denying it, well, then you're probably gonna get a lot of shit from the people who kept saying it was true. But that's not why we're here. That's not the main point of this episode. The main point of this episode is to show how God is God. How what makes him tick. Like basically, it's think of it like this. This episode would be perfect if you just took away everything in this episode and put Chuck in a courtroom and had Sam, Dean, everyone in the universe just being the people he's like wronged. This episode would be like a great courtroom case. It's just like Chuck providing his side of the story, and it's very good. Rob Benedict actually pulls off a very great performance as Chuck and shows us the bitterness, the emptiness, the sadness, and the exhaustion of a person who's constantly watched time and time again his creations fail and destroy and just disappoint him. It really just shows you why he left in the first place. It wasn't just Lucifer. It wasn't just Gadriel. It was everything. He was just so tired of it all. I know some of you out there who have thought about just giving up and leaving and disappearing forever. Well, God actually did that because everything just went wrong. He tried his best to do something right, and it all falls apart. Most because of his sister, and most because of creation's desires to just destroy. And then there's Metatron. Metatron is this episode's cold open. He actually got a dog, I believe. And he's searching through scraps to get food. Because remember in the last episode, he was human and he could barely get by. In this episode, he's just pathetic. Seriously. I actually felt bad for him. That's something. I hate the guy, and I feel bad for him. Curtis Armstrong just gives also a very good performance here too. I mean, Rob and Curtis have very good chemistry together. Probably because they're playing off some people who've known each other for thousands of years, but still. The fact that Curtis Armstrong is what Metatron is, acting as the mentor and just a dryly bitter and also exhausted person really helps the chemistry between the two. And I also love the fact that he just started tearing in to Metatron. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying Metatron being torn into. Tearing into Chuck for, well, honestly, just hiding out and being a coward. Chuck claims he's not, but honestly, if you're tired, man, it's fine, but you can't just give up. You spend too much time and effort in this. So Metatron had a reason and was valid in his way of tearing into Chuck. Though he also incited the wrath from Chuck, which actually made me finally think that the guy I was watching was God. Because in this episode, God is, yes, like a human. I mean, yeah, he created humans, but still, it's just a little bit weird. Like for that first half of the episode, I'm thinking, okay, I know you're God, but you don't act like God. You act like a very awkward, eccentric little teenager. You kind of act like me when I'm off on medication for my autism. And then the wrath comes in, like he just stares at Metatron. It's like, okay, all right, now I believe you're God. Bravo. There you go. That's how you do it. But the B plot, let's get the B plot out of the way. In the B plot, Sam and Dean are in a little rural town where Amara has now sent a fog, like the fog from the beginning of the season. And honestly, it's kind of a dead end. It just seems to be there because we need some padding because I guess they couldn't have the Metatron and Chuck film the entire episode, and it's supernatural. 17 have to be in it somehow, but they can't interact with Metatron or God because, well, they're in a special little place. But it's just kind of like a shoot the Shaggy Dog story because, well, they fail because the strain is stronger than before. They don't have any holy oil. They can't cure anyone. Sam gets infected again, and really the entire time is doomed. They pull a literal Deus Ex Machina to save it. I mean, I guess it's to show how much of a power adversary Amara is, and to be fair, it kind of works because she's God's sister. I mean, if it was any other way, it wouldn't really work, and it kind of helps with the stakes because we're now at the end of season 11, and if they didn't have these stakes this high, then we got a problem, especially since they haven't had stakes high like this since season 5. They've had trouble getting them this high. So, good on you for that. But, back to the A-plot. The A-plot, Chuck is writing his memoir, his autobiography of sorts. And Metatron is his editor, of all things. And this is where you really get into, like, Chuck and Metatron. Especially Metatron, because when trying to get to God and make him realize the wrong he's doing, make him a better writer, make him get out there and help, he's telling us about him. How he realizes he was a crappy God, how he realizes that he was a terrible writer who just rewrote old tales, and how, well, everything he did in like season 9 and well season 8 was just a pathetic cry for attention. For God's attention. It's, like I said, it really makes you feel for Metatron. It's just weird. Honestly, you should go see it yourself. I can't really just explain to you this. It's just one of those things that, it's like The Prisoner. It's one of those things that has to be seen to be believed. Because honestly, if I'm telling you that Metatron makes you feel sorry for him, would you believe me if you haven't seen this? I don't think you would. I wouldn't believe me. But I have to give this a rating, and I will give this an 8. Good, excellent writing. It's not perfect, but it's serviceable. I'll give it that, serviceable. But anyway, have you seen this episode of Supernatural? And if so, what did you think about it? Whatever you thought about this episode, comment below, and maybe we can have a discussion about it. I'm very curious what you think. And as always, if you want to see more, click the subscribe button to see more.